Alright guys, what is going on? I am back. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to look at Super Metal Dave 64. Super Metal Dave 64, he's very much similar to Digital Foundry in the sense that he's always doing graphics comparisons when it comes to Nintendo. He mainly talks about Nintendo. He mainly talks about the power and the specs of their consoles and all that, which is okay. It's not something that I care to listen to all the time. I just care about whether the games are fun or not, like Kirby Air Riders and stuff like that. But he's got a pretty cool YouTube channel now. Here's something about Super Metal Dave 64. He was making a lot of call-out videos to Digital Foundry. This was back many months ago when the Switch 2 was revealed, and we were seeing gameplay footage or whatever, and it was argued that some of those gameplay footage, probably wasn't on the Switch 2. I don't know. I really don't know too much about that stuff, but all I know is when the Switch 2 was revealed, when it initially was shown off, freaking Digital Foundry was doing every freaking thing in their power to downplay how good the Switch 2 was when it comes to the specs and everything like that. They even said it wasn't going to have DLSS, like it was that stupid British guy. He's like, oh, people are saying it's going to have DLSS. It's not. He was saying shit like that, completely fucking ignorant. Those guys, I do not like them. I do not respect them. They're full of crap. I remember one video in particular pissing me off was when they talked about the backwards compatibility of the Nintendo Switch 2. And they basically said, they titled the video, Switch 2 backwards compatibility is far from perfect. Far from perfect. That was their stupid title, right? Even though it's able to play 99% of Nintendo Switch 1 games, and I think it was only like a small handful of games that they were having, problems with. It wasn't so much that they couldn't play the games, they were just having issues running, I guess. And that was about it. But they decided to title the stupid video, it's far from perfect. They just had to give it that negative headline on purpose. And, I made a video calling them out for that bullshit. Because they had a video about the PlayStation 5 talking just praising how good its backwards compatibility is, even though it's kind of the same thing with the PS5. The PS5 is able to play 99% of PS4 games, but there's a few that it had troubles with, and yet their video was them praising the PS5's backwards compatibility, saying it was like phenomenal or something like that. So yeah, Digital Foundry is full of shit. Screw those fucking guys. They make some good videos here and there, but for the most part, it is so obvious that they have a bias against Nintendo. Now, Super Metal Dave, even though he was debunking a lot of the stupid shit they were saying back then, every time people like me and others would go into the comment section and talk about how these guys were basically biased against Nintendo, he would always reply with a really stupid comment saying, I don't think they're biased or anything, I just think they're doing a bad job. Like, what do you mean you think they're just doing a bad job? That's bullshit. You think they're doing a bad job consistently like that with Nintendo? For whatever apparent reason, when it comes to Nintendo, they suck at their job. They just conveniently suck at their job when it comes to Nintendo. No. It was obvious that they were just pushing out as much negative content regarding the Switch 2. They were trying to downplay it as much as possible, and there was a lot of dishonesty there and whatnot. So it blows my mind how Super Metal Dave was like defending them in the comment section, was like, yeah, I don't think that's what it is. I just think they're doing a bad job. I don't think they're biased. I don't think they're dishonest. But 8 days ago, Super Metal Dave 64, he put out this post right here. I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, since about 2023 range or so, I've been warning you guys about Digital Foundry. And yes, we were proved 100% right about them. If you're a defender of them and have tried to discredit my content calling them out over the years, you should have learned. I don't do that type of content for clickbait. I do it because it's the truth and I need to inform people correctly, especially when it's involved with the Switch 2. Well, it's all come back around and hit them like a ton of bricks with the DLSS 5 disaster of a video they initially did, and were now forced to change their opinion due to audience pressure here. So I guess they uploaded a video, I guess, praising DLSS 5, and then when they saw how, their followers, subscribers, audience, whatever, was getting angry at them for it, they just, conveniently changed their mind. So he goes on to say, a complete 180 from their first video 2 days ago. Suffice to say, as I've warned, Digital Foundry's opinions cannot be trusted. Yeah, no shit. They do a good job, not gonna lie, on graphics and frame rate comparisons, but it's always when they start telling people what is good is when they run into big problems. I think this was a major blow to them and their audience of defenders who have sworn these guys are unbiased, when this is far from the case. Digital Foundry is completely swayed by audience opinion, since their initial opinion by Richard and Oliver was totally in favor of DLSS 5. They even claim to be blown away by its quality, but now after the backlash, they don't seem to be so in favor of DLSS 5. What happened here? Sorry, but you can't be a respected outlet of reviewing products if your opinion change based on audience reaction. That's a massive fail. To be clear, my stance is crystal on DLSS 5. I don't want AI generated faces in my games. Pure and simple. Keep that mess out of my games. This isn't exactly Switch 2 based for a video, but we'll likely discuss it a bit during my next live stream. I'm thinking of checking out Crimson Desert on PC, so stay tuned. All right, yeah, so he had all of that to say. Now I hadn't really been involved in the video game community here on YouTube around 2003. It was really, in 2025-ish that I really started to kind of get involved with what's going on YouTube, especially the gaming community. So, but apparently, according to Super Metal Dave 64, he's been calling them out since 2023, but I kind of call bullshit on that because, like I said, in those videos that he made debunking a lot of the shit they were saying about the Switch 2 and its graphical capabilities or whatever, he was pretty much defending them in the damn comment section. And in the video, he would keep on putting that disclaimer. I don't think it's that they're biased or anything. I don't think they have anything against Nintendo or anything like that. I just think they're doing a bad job here. But here, he's actually saying that he's been warning everybody about Digital Foundry. He's been warning us about them. It's like, really? Have you been warning people about them, or have you just been respectfully disagreeing with them and exposing their bullshit while also trying to do damage control and say that they're not biased and they're not dishonest? You've been a little bit too nice to them ever since the reveal of the Switch 2. And it seems like you've been doing that because you just, you want to be very respectful and you want them to, I don't know, possibly get you on the panel for an interview or something and get your channel more views. It seems like that's why you just kept on damage controlling for them, because what you're saying here is, it's kind of a complete 180 from what I've observed when you've made videos going against them. You've basically defended them in a way. You've damage controlled and said, oh, they're not biased or they don't hate Nintendo. It's just, I think they're just doing a bad job. That's all. Well, no, that's clearly bullshit. They weren't just doing a bad job. All right. They were totally being biased against Nintendo. And it's not just the graphics comparisons. It's not just, the shit they were saying about how it wasn't going to have DLSS. It was also the fact that they made that ridiculous video about its backwards compatibility and all of that. So, just wanted to make this quick video response. But I'm glad he's at least pretty much just, I don't even know how to even say it. He's basically taking the gloves off here and is basically saying, these guys are not to be trusted. And we were telling you that, Super Metal Dave. We were telling you that back when the Switch 2 was revealed. when they were looking at games like Street Fighter 6 or whatever, and they kept trying to downplay what it had going on the Switch 2 version. When they were, when they were basically being nitpicky with the Cyberpunk 2077 footage for the Switch 2. We've been telling you that, Super Metal Dave. So, but anyways, yeah, it's cool that he's finally taking the gloves off or whatever, but I wish he would have done it back then with the Switch 2, as opposed to this DLSS 5 bullshit. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think in the comments below about this. What do you think about Digital Foundry? I personally think they're a joke. I don't take them seriously at all whatsoever. They have some good videos every now and then. Their review of Kirby Air Riders, that was a good video. They had one about Metroid Prime 4, and where they basically praised the game and whatnot, and I wasn't really expecting that, but maybe it's because they just love the game's graphics or whatever, I don't know. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Leave a like, share the video, be sure to leave as many comments as possible, and I will talk to you guys later.